We're going live.
All right. Facebook, what's happening? Tiff, what's going on?
All right, we on it.
We've been on it.
Okay. What up, y'all? I said, what's up?
You dry as hell. That's what's up.
I'm dry. What? No, I'm not. Like, we is here, y'all. Top of the Monday, the week, man. It's like, kind of, how you doing over there? You look like you glistening.
I am. I'm always glistening.
You glistening?
Growed up and growed up, honey.
What does growed up? What does it mean?
Whatever you want it to mean.
I think we got time for this today, honey.
It's self-explanatory.
Load up. Okay, that's what's up. So look, Miss Iconic, man, like we're so first and foremost, what up, y'all? This your girl Tiffany Two-Tone. Y'all so excited to be here on today. And me and Miss Iconic got some.
No, see, you're not gonna mess up my whole introduction and just start talking. You're gonna have to do better, bro. And then we sit up here, we recording live and shit.
Let me do it again. Let me do it again. You ready? Hold on.
Oh my gosh.
You ready? You ready, Miss Iconic?
No, is you ready? Is the question.
What up, y'all? This your girl, Tiffany Two-Tone, baby.
And y'all already know who this is. It's the one who is always on point when we come to y'all streaming live on Facebook. Miss Iconic!
I could have did that myself.
We're wasting time. We have 20 minutes.
All that extra stuff. Yo, first and foremost, again, starting over. Top of the Monday, y'all, for real. This is very special to us, this episode, because I mean, you know, we all go through life who have had friends and they're no longer in the season of our life.
Say the name of the episode. Y'all have to excuse us. People still acting like rookies after 3 seasons. Like, you have to tell the people the name of the episode.
You finished?
Oh my gosh. I'm aggravated.
She is, but it's all right. Miss Iconic gonna be okay. She just need a drink or something. So this episode is called The Last Supper. Last Supper. So first thing you think of when you hear Last Supper, you know, you probably hear like, food, right? But really, this one is totally based off of, you know, people betraying you, people that's not supposed to be at your table. Like, they've been so good in your whole life, and then you come to realize, like, dang, they don't need to sit at my table no more. And so me and Miss Iconic wanted to bring you a few nuggets on that, because I know for myself that I have had people who were at my table for such a long time and their seat is up. It was hard though, Miss Iconic. Like, I had to deal with it. I had to accept that the people who have been at my table for such a long time, they no longer bring value to my life. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah. So how did you come to that realization? What do you mean by bringing value?
So when it comes to like adding value, like, you know, the higher levels you go in life and different storms that you are presented in your life will be determined on who's there, like who's gonna rock with you. And certain people, you think that they're gonna be there for you for the long run, but they really show their true colors. So as you're going through those storms in your life, you really realize if the people that you could depend on is going to be there for you.
Right. I'm asking you, how do you determine that?
How do you determine it?
That their time was up is what I'm asking you.
You could just feel it. It's just situations. Like, I'm telling you, when the situations present itself.
That ain't gonna work for our viewing audience, because I know people that follow me, they want more in-depth and details. So
you tell them, Miss Iconic.
Excuse me?
You tell them.
No, I want to know, how did you decide in your own personal life that people's time was up? We're not going to dance around the subject because you're trying to save people's feelings because they on this live. We're going to talk truth because people need to hear that. So I'm asking you, in your own life, how did you decide that people's time was up? And I want to know who it was.
You don't even know the people that I know, but
it doesn't matter.
All right,
so audience, you ain't talking to me.
Okay, so when there's certain people's time that's up in your life, you could feel it, as I was saying earlier. Like, you can tell based off of certain situations. Like, how do you determine it? Like,
name a situation that you had that you had to cut somebody off and kick them off your table?
All right. So a situation that I had to cut someone off would probably be something that's super like I don't it's tough. But dang man.
We ain't doing all that dancing today. Y'all, if y'all want her to quit bullshitting, tell her in the comments to quit playing. You got people on here watching you, they trying to hear something and you dancing. I ain't got that kind of time. I got things I need to do.
What you got?
What's
up? So yeah, anyways, I believe like when there's some certain people that come in your life.
We ain't talking about certain people. We talking about your life.
Can I warm it? Can I say it? You want me to go straight to the point? It's iconic.
Oh, child.
Oh, that is the exact truth. Oh, child. You all right over there?
I'm fine. I ain't got a bunch of time to waste. I ain't trying to be here for an hour.
So, Miss Iconic, go ahead and take over.
No, we're not doing that. Yeah,
sorry. This is the behind the this is real.
I'm not sorry. I'm dead ass for real. Yeah, I'm not sorry.
So this is what's up. So when it comes to people that's in your life that their time is up, you'll know. So there's friends that I have had that when I was going through some tough seasons in my life, they was not there. And so I knew that and I had to get rid of them.
How was they not there for you? What did they do?
But then when it comes to things like that, is that making it selfish? Like, is that making me selfish that I expect certain people to be in my life when I'm going through things?
Not if there's somebody that's calling yourself a friend, but are you needy or like, you know what I'm saying? That's what we're trying to figure out. We can't help you determine anything because you don't even want to tell us the story.
What story? What story? What story, Miss Iconic?
Anyway, guys, so listen. Sometimes, you have people in your life, and whether they are your friends or your family, because you think you have to keep them around just because y'all connected by blood or DNA. But that's not true because your family and your friends can be just as toxic as anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Just because they're your friend doesn't necessarily mean that they're supposed to eat at your table. Because I done had plenty of friends and I stayed feeding them from my table, but they never brought nothing to my table. They always came to eat at my table, but they never brought anything to my table. I'm going to say that again for the second time. And there's nothing wrong with doing for people. There's nothing wrong with people being in need. It's a difference. When it becomes a habitual pattern of them always having their hand out, that you always having to feed them, you always having to do and go overboard for them, and they don't ever go overboard for you. You know what I'm saying? They need you to do stuff for them, but they don't even want to meet you halfway. It's just a consistent cycle. That is not a friendship, and I'll be the first one to tell you that, because everybody likes things reciprocated, as they should be. If you love somebody, they need to be loving you back. If you're a good friend to somebody, they need to be being a good friend to you back. If you are always giving to somebody, they need to be giving you back. That's how you keep balance in any type of relationship, whether it's with your boo, whether it's with your bestie, whether it's with your mama, anything, your husband, your kids. It has to be relational. It has to be give and take. It has to be give and take. And there is no 50-50 in relationships. Y'all don't care what y'all say. You don't show up half-ass. You show up 100% every single time, and you go hard. Because just if y'all do that, if I go hard for Tiff and I'm giving 100% and she's doing the same with me, neither one of us is lacking. But if you show up with 50% and you giving everything you got, first of all, you only giving half. You only have half to begin with. And then you giving half to the drama on Facebook. You're giving half to your gossiping friends. You're giving half to your, not half, but a percentage, a fraction to your job. You're giving a fraction to all these, to your bills, all these other things that are creating this anxiety in your life. You're gonna have to remove it. And I say like this, listen, friend or foe, you gotta go. If you're not bringing nothing to my table, don't do it. And there's so many different complexities in it, because sometimes people do bring stuff to your table, but it's full of poison. So you have to have discernment, and you have to be careful what you allow to come into your, you ever go into people's house and they like, I don't like nobody else in my kitchen. You know, like women don't like other women in their kitchen. And I know it's not just me. I know it's a fact. It's not just old school either. It's definitely a fact. And that's because you have to be careful what you allow. The energy, the vibes, all of that stuff, it's real. And when you start allowing certain things, you can't allow certain things to your table. You just can't. And you know what? The same thing holds true in that you have people in your life, maybe they're not meant to sit at your table, but they might be in your life for a reason. And some of them are in your life for a reason. Actually, everybody in your life is in your life to push you in the direction of purpose. Some will agree, but before you get all antsy and get your panties in a bunch, listen to me, hear me out, okay? They are in your life to push you towards purpose. Some people do that negatively. Some people do that positively. If you had a bunch of positive people in your life, I know this sounds crazy, but you would never get anywhere.
So you need the
negative. You learn through your pain. You learn through bad situations, through your hurt. You learn through your best friend of 20 years talking shit about you. You learn by that. You learn by your mother giving birth to you, or your dad, you know, your mother and father giving birth to you and creating you, and then not caring nothing about you and leave you on to the next person. You learn through your hurt. You learn through her how to love. You learn through her how to be discerning. You learn through her how to pick up on things. Your intuition gets stronger. You can only you only graduate the next class after you have passed the test. So that's the thing. Don't discount anybody, but you ain't gotta let them sit at your table. Some people have been in my life and they hurt me very, very bad. Some people have turned on me, talked about me, rubbed my name in the dirt. I mean, like with ill intent, on purpose. It wasn't accidental. Okay. But the thing is, just like God has an army, and I ain't gonna get too deep on y'all, but I am gonna speak on this. Just like God has an army, the enemy has an army as well. Just like God is raising up his army to fight and battle in his kingdom, the enemy is raising up an army to fight and battle in his kingdom of hell. So when you're doing good things and you're sowing seeds and you're being kind to people no matter how they mistreat you, and you're you know what I'm saying, you're loving on people no matter how much they hate you, and no matter how they look at you and roll their eyes, no matter, you know, you might have found out they was talking about you and you still loving on them, and you doing that with the love of God. The enemy don't like that. And so he's going to raise up people to come together to fight you, because he know how strong you is. He know how much power you got in you. He know how anointed you is. He know you got all these things that's coming that God is waiting to bless you with, but you're being silly. Don't be silly and don't be foolish. Be discerning. I'm not saying be stupid, but sometimes people are in your life all the time. People are in your life to push you towards purpose, whether they do it with their negativity or whether they do it with empowerment. That's on them. Your job is to get to where you're going. Use whatever they're doing to you, whatever they have done, whatever they have said about you, however they abused you, mistreated you, neglected you. Your job is to use that to get to where you're trying to go. You got to stay focused, baby. You got to keep your eyes on that prize. Yeah. Don't worry about what nobody did you, how nobody did you no dirt. It don't matter. That's on them. They got to answer for that. And I'm gonna pause right there.
That was real. I think that look, I felt like I was in therapy session or something.
You
You
might have been. Let
you
me
done,
pass the plate.
nah, you done touched the core of that, Miss Iconic. Like I can attest to those things because oftentimes, you try to stay strong as possible as you can. Even when people are betraying you, you don't want that to bring you down. So even if they're at your table, you kind of like, all right, I'm just gonna keep them there. I'm gonna put them down at the very end because I ain't really ready for them to leave yet.
Is it you're not ready for them to leave, or is it because you don't feel like you have the strength to tell them, listen, I am no longer subscribing to your bullshit. I am no longer going to enable you to use me. People want your presence, presents, but they don't want your presence, presence. And if they want your stuff, your gifts, your anointing, your money, your intelligence, your network, if they want your stuff, your presence, presents, but they don't want you around because every time they get some stuff, they ain't thinking about you. Every time they on the come up, they ain't hollering at you, they ain't calling you. They only call you when they down bad. If they want your presence, but not your presence, let them go. They do not need to be at your table. They don't need to be there. Period.
I think for me, I had to release my table. There was definitely situations for me. So just being authentic, and I haven't really said nothing, but it is very fitting for this situation. That based off what Miss Iconic said, and she's talking to me because it's my best friend, so she already know that's what she know how to squeeze the limit.
Let me just straighten something out, and I'm gonna be honest. And this is, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna tell you, Tiff. I'm not saying what I said, it was not directed towards you or towards anybody in particular.
None taken.
Okay.
It was more just led. You say things and you want to be transparent, right? For your viewers, like being honest. So to piggyback off of what Miss Iconic said, like I literally had to remove I was once when I first started this podcast, I was married. And so because you're married there at your table, right? That's what you think. Your spouse
They
is
should be. If you got a hub them,
yeah.
y'all should be at the table together.
Table together. And so things didn't work out, and so I recently just went through a divorce. And so just having someone at my table that is no longer at my table, like that's one of the hardest things that you have to really adjust to when your table is there. Because I mean, I don't know how many people have went through loss of life, like loss with people who were in your life, or in my case,
everybody goes through it, man, but nobody talks about it, Tiff.
yeah, Miss Iconic.
Nobody talks about it.
Nobody want to talk about being weak, man. Don't nobody want to talk about people walking out in their life. Like you got this image, you got this persona out, man, and people are like, "Yo, look at them, pop, pop, pop." But really, your table got so many cracks in that daggone thing. And so, for the beginning of the question earlier, you said, "What were the signs?" That you know when people it is time for them to leave your table, and it's when you're drained, like when you lose it, man, it's like just when you feel like people aren't for you, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not gonna force your hand on these things. So for me, I just had to have enough strength and to walk away. And there's no need for the details, but you just
we're talking about from your marriage.
Yes, we're definitely talking about that, Miss Iconic.
So you're divorced.
I am now divorced.
Okay.
Yes. So I was able to remove him from my table during this season.
Okay.
And so yeah, I mean, I've not really opened up about it, but it's very very transparent in this Last Supper episode.
Are you bitter?
I'm not. I was at first. but I'm happy. I'm happy.
So if you, oh, my bad, go ahead.
I don't feel bitter at all. I just feel like there's a new journey for me that God has for me. And so, you of course you don't get married to get divorced. You know what I'm
Yeah, of
saying? And
course,
so
of course.
the whole world is shifted, but for me, I have a strong faith system, and so I have been able to get my comeback. My comeback is ridiculous right now. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I mean, of course, I ain't walking around like, hey, but you gotta adjust and keep pressing forward, man. And when it's time to let people out your table, man, you gotta be willing to let them out.
So, okay, you say you're not bitter. If he called you right now today and needed something, would you help him?
It's iconic. No, man. No, I don't even want to put myself through that no more, man. Like,
Baby girl, that's bitterness.
nah, I mean, like,
Yeah, it
nah,
is.
man. Like, I think it's more so like based off of the what is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, you needed $100, like, no. But
I don't think, and I'm not talking about just him coming to use you. I'm talking about he was in need of something and you knew that there was
like,
actually a need for it.
I mean, that's extreme, but I mean,
Whatever it is, if he had a need, a real need, the fact that you're saying you would not be able to help him, that is significant of still holding hostility and bitterness in your heart, because that's the only way that I know that you can quantify your levels of bitterness, if you're still bitter or if you have really really moved on from that. And I know it takes forever for people to move on from things like that, because that's a kind of, you have, walked away from, and I'm not saying you, I'm saying people in general. When you get married, you have separated from your family, you have, released them, left your father's house, your mother's house, whatever the Bible say, and you have joined as one with one another, and you become one. And so that's a soul tie, that's a physical tie, that's a monetary bank tie, that's a house tie, car tie, that's all kind of intertwined going on. So naturally, if you have something that has grown together, when you start pulling off pieces, it is going to die. It can't survive like that. If you have a tree outside and you start chopping off at the tree, trying to cut it in pieces and separate it, the tree is going to wither and die. You start pulling off branches, the leaves on that branch are going to wither and die, because you have something that have formed together and they're connected and they're bound. And so naturally, okay, when you start peeling back pieces and trying to disconnect and separate and all that, the natural reaction is it's going to cause a death. Now, when we're talking about with people, you're not necessarily talking about a physical death, you're talking about a spiritual death, psychologically, mentally, your heart is broken, you know what I'm saying, in a million pieces and shattered. So it's all types of deaths that you can experience, but there's no way that nobody could tell me, oh yeah, I separate from my husband, my wife, whatever, and I'm good. No, because that's not the natural order of things. The natural order of things is when you have things that come together and they're bound together, they begin to fuse together. If you put a plant and set a plant by a fence, that plant is going to start wrapping around that fence and it is going to fuse together. When you start pulling the plant off the fence, the plant is going to die. It's the natural order of things. So my reason for asking you that was not to pick on you, but it was to say that we have to be careful that when these things happen, that we don't allow them to make us bitter. Again, I'm not saying be nobody's fool, but I'm saying when there is a true need, when there is a true desire to be better and not bitter, you're going to help that person. I've had a girl that hated my guts. Her and her cousin jumped me in the club when I was maybe like 16. Why was I in the club at 16? None of your business. But they jumped me in the club at like 16, you know what I'm saying? And they waited, they snuck me and did all type of stuff. And even then, I only left with a busted lip and a couple scratches on me. You're talking about 7 girls. Yes, I still remember the number. I remember the night like it was last night. You're talking about 7 girls jump me. Okay. I should have never walked out of there alive. They know, like I know, I ain't jumping nobody. And they walk away to tell about it. Are you serious? You going to the hospital. If me and 6 of my goons jump you, you going to the hospital. You're not walking away. You're not getting on your phone, updating no status. Back then, we didn't have all that. But you're not getting on no phone. You're not updating no status. You're not walking away. You're not going to clown me. You're not doing none of that. If me and 6 other people jump you, you in trouble, bro. So what it was they hated me so much, they jumped me, right? Years later, let me see, that was about 16. So jump maybe 5, 6 years after that. I'm working at Popeyes drive-through, Merritt Island, for all of y'all that's in Florida in Brevard County. Merritt Island. Chick came through the drive-through. I didn't know who she was. I was on the drive-through, had the headphones. You know what I'm saying? Her voice sounded familiar, but everybody's voice sounds familiar when you've been talking to 100,000 people all day. She drives around through the drive-through. She got her baby in the back seat, like maybe like a 2-year-old in the car seat. Comes around, before you give them their food, you have to swipe their card. I swiped the card and see, I was not following the rules. That was on me, but I had a system. So I had gave her part of her food, and I still had to give her like her drinks and a couple of other things she ordered on the side. So after I gave her food, she gave the baby the food. The baby didn't already start eating the food. I swiped the card, declined. So I didn't try to clown her. I said, hey, you have another card, or you have some cash on you? And she was like, just give it here. And I said, I mean, it's no problem. Like, it's your card got declined or whatever. So if you have another form of payment, it's, it's no biggie. And she was like, no, I don't. So she grabbed the food from the baby. Give it here. The baby crying.
Oh, Lord.
The baby. Like, give it here. Give it here. We got to give it back. Oh. This is the scene she's making in my drive-through. So she packing up the baby stuff, packing up all the food. She handed me back the food, and I was like, I don't want it back. You can keep it. And she was like, just take it. I said, listen, it's not really a time to be prideful. When you give me that, I'm going to throw it in the trash. So just keep it. It's no big deal. Like, you good.
You said that so nicely.
She snatched her card and pulled off. Skirt. She was so embarrassed. But that's the thing. And honestly, I didn't do it so that later I could have a story to tell about how some girl that didn't like me came through the drive-thru and her card got declined. Because if I wanted to do that, I could call her name. Because she on Facebook. Okay. But that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to say, okay, in my heart, I felt like that was the right thing to do, whether I like this hoe or not. That was the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? And do you know how much food we used to give away and steal at Popeyes? Okay. I mean, I wouldn't call it stealing. I never stole food, but I just used to give it away.
You borrowed it.
I just used to give it away. Like if somebody wanted extra, or you know what I'm saying? But why would I be so free to give away food like that? And then just because I don't like this girl, I'm finna take out of her and her child's mouth. I'm not gonna do that. She had a need that day. And obviously she didn't have the money. Because if she did, she would have said, my bad, wrong card. Like I have lied and said in the past. Or, you know what I'm saying? Oh, here, let me just give you cash when my card has got declined. But I would have been dead ass wrong to take that food from that girl and throw it in the trash. Like, and I see people do it all the time, and we got to get better with that, people.
That's what's up.
We have to get better with that. You know what I'm saying? We have to do better. If you see somebody and they have a genuine need, it don't matter what they did to you, man. You know how many people I help on a daily that can give 2 flying beep about me? I know they don't care nothing about me, but I'm not gonna let that block my blessing.
Yeah, man. Like I'm with you on that. I mean, yes, as you're talking, like I definitely wouldn't want nothing, no ill will. That ain't how I'm built, man. Like my heart is big, and it's you know what I'm saying? I loved him enough to let him go, and that's the biggest gift that anybody could do for somebody, man. So, yeah, of course, if he was in dire need, man, I didn't like, I just had to do what I had to do for the best of us, So, of course, I'm not gonna be that person. I'm just not that way. And there's been plenty of people that's hurt me in the past. And honestly, Miss Iconic, this is like the first time I've ever spoke on this because I mean, you just don't. I mean, this for real. So
Wrong.
you know what
It's
I'm saying?
wrong.
Yeah,
I
man.
think
Like
you want to slap a sign on your head. Divorce,
I
bitch.
don't.
You know what
I
I'm saying? I
don't
mean, it's later for the turn up or whatever, but yeah,
light
it's
away.
not anything that you want to do, and it can be very shameful and bring up a lot of feelings and
It's
emotions.
embarrassing, man. Cause like what's super tough about it, and I know like we talking about the Last Supper, but leading up to that, you know what I'm saying? Like when people are at your table, the reason why, you got to get them out of your table. But like at one point we were, and this was the beginning of Real Soul Speak. You asked me about being on Black Girls Rock. You remember that? Like when we was doing our live, it's like, yeah, I want Black Girls Rock with my husband, and so like that was such a great moment for me, man, and I was so excited, and so then that perfect picture it leaves, and so that of course is humiliating for me because I'm not one to just be like, hey y'all, look at us, and I guess I was that, but now I'm kind of like just it's just me, man, and I'm humble, man, and I've learned so much through these storms, and like I'm on the road to a whole nother journey, which is cool. Real Soul Speak got so much different topics now because of what I've been through. So yes, it is humiliating at one point, of course it is, of course, but now like I'm good, honestly, Miss Iconic. Like I'm real good. Like I'm free. I'm happy, man, and like I'm doing well.
Okay, you talked about like just the betrayal and stuff like that, and I just want to we could start wrapping up with this point. For those out there that do have faith and do believe, um, Jesus walked around with his 12 disciples. He walked around, he slept with them. I guess he slept with them at night, you know what I'm saying? If they walked around for all this time with no shoes on and stuff, they was doing bald head hoe stuff. But you walked around with no shoes. Jesus was feeding them. He was doing miracles in front of these people. He was breaking bread with them, providing them with wine, turning water to wine at these parts. He was doing all these things with his disciples. And then the same people that walked with him every single day turned around and traded on him. And you know what he did? And you have to remember, God is all knowing. Okay. So Jesus already knew
That one of them was gonna betray him.
that he had to allow them, correct, that they was going to betray him. It wasn't one, it was multiple. It was multiple. But he knew that whatever they did, it was to get him to purpose. Judas, when he turned Jesus into the authorities, that was the beginning of him going to the crucifix and dying. Okay? If he never turned him in, Jesus never would have died for our sins, and then me and you wouldn't even be here because I know I'd have been gone. Dead and gone, honey. I'm so sinful. But the thing is that I'm trying to get everybody to realize is that one, you have to realize when people are in your life to push you towards purpose, whether they do you good or whether they do you dirt. They're there to push you towards purpose. And you don't have to allow them to continue to sit at your table. Once you have decided in your mind, and I mean, think it through, talk that thing through, weigh the pros and the cons, look at it, pray about it, use your discernment and that good thing called that gut. Because the Holy Spirit will talk to you if you just listen.
Yeah, no
He'll
doubt.
talk to you.
No,
So you have to use those things and use your discernment to figure out who is supposed to be here and who not. And it's not all good people. Everything look good ain't good.
But you know what, Miss Lakana, even though there are people that's at your table, right, and it's time for them to leave, that doesn't mean that they're bad people. It just means
No,
that
it doesn't.
they're not the people for your journey. And like you said, there
Exactly.
are people that's gonna be in your life. And I love the poem. If you all ever have a chance to like Google Reason Season Lifetime, like I just hear that every time you just keep saying reason, like reason, it just instantly takes me to that poem of the Reason Season folks and the Lifetime people. And so what I always say, you can't get these lifetime people or these seasoned folks for lifetime friends. Like, no, don't get confused with seasoned folks and put them as lifetime people. So you got to be careful of those things, because if you're trying to make seasonal friends, lifetime friends, it's gonna mess you up every single time. And
That's
so
true. Just like when I be trying to get a watermelon in the wintertime. It is not the season for that. Watermelons in the winter are horrible. You gotta wait till the summertime to get you a good juicy watermelon.
well, then when that is sometimes they ain't the right one still. So no matter how good they taste or how good they look, they still ain't there. They still ain't ready to be in your life, man. And so you got to be conscious of all of those things, because it's tough. It's tough to decipher who is that person, because they come in your life and they are everything that you want.
And let me say to round on that, because there's sometimes that people feel like, oh, well, she tried me. I'm gonna say something. Do you know how many times Jesus told, was it Peter or Paul? Hold on. I think Peter walked on water, so I think it was Paul. Hold on. No, it was Peter. Do you know how many times Jesus told them that they were going to deny, that they were going to betray him? So it don't matter what you know. You can't always vocalize that. You can't always step to somebody and be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna step to her. And they be like, no, girl, because they will lie to you in your face. They
Yeah.
will lie to you, they will give you praise, and then they will crucify you behind your back and
Yeah.
kill you and read you for filth
Yeah.
behind your back.
And
So even though
okay.
they betrayed him, Jesus turned around after he said, now you know this no good, something or the other. I done sat up here and confronted him about this, and he done lied to me 3 times. Guess what? I'm still gonna feed y'all, give y'all wine to drink, and I'm gonna wash your feet. I'm gonna wash your stinking, nasty, dirty feet
So
to
you
let you know
you
I'm the greatest. The
oh
champion's here.
do, do,
I'm
do.
the greatest, and I still have humility enough to bow down before somebody who has betrayed me, somebody with their nasty, stinking, dirty feet, and wash your feet with my bare hands to let you know that I am Lord. That's all. And I'm gonna let you know that even in that, there's nothing that you can do to make me so shame that I can't have humility towards others. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
let's
I love those points that you said. And like, although like people who aren't supposed to be in your life, they're gonna hold you back if you know that they're not supposed to be there. So
yeah,
even when you're trying to go to the next level and you just like, man, I can't go, like I can't go, and it's you need to check the people that's
you
in
have
your
to
life.
shed some things. You have
Check,
to shed
yeah,
some things.
'cause that's, I mean,
So
y'all,
let's talk. Let's give the people, a couple of tips on how to identify a fraud. If you have, there's frauds all around. It's fraudulent money, it's fraudulent clothes, it's fraudulent handbags, fraudulent people, fraudulent hair. It's frauds all around, honey. So we're going to give you some tips on how to point out authenticity in those people who are around you. Actually, not how to point them out, but how to identify a fraud. Okay. Tiff, what you got?
I would go off of and say that the people that aren't rooting for you. So if there's good things that's going on in your life and they're not in your corner to support you and be like, man, you go head on, and they get jealous, well, I think that's a total sign.
So if they not happy when you happy, they not clapping when you clap.
Yeah.
They not, you know what I'm saying? When you winning, they don't have the spirit of they're winning. They feel like, oh, why she okay, okay. Um, so I have they expect you to be their yes man.
Mm.
And what I mean by that is, people who are quick to put you down, anytime you have an opinion that is different from theirs, if they can't respect that you two are two different individuals and that you have difference of opinions and that you see things different and your perspective may be varying, and they can't respect that enough and still be your friend, they're a fraud. Because they always, you know what I'm saying, want to talk from a standpoint of their perspective, but they never really want to know the truth. If you tell them something that is different from how they feel, they will tell you you are wrong, you are a lie, what you are saying is not true. You know what I'm saying? Real friends can respect one another's beliefs and agree to disagree and move on.
Cause ain't that us? Ain't that us with psychotic?
Yeah, yeah. What you got next?
I say like a lot of times, like you'll notice like people playing victim in certain situations, and that's definitely a red flag when it
Like
comes
what?
like, oh, this is happening to me, kind of like a woe is me type situation. Especially like if there's good things that are happening for you and they try to bring you down to their level. I feel like that's a way.
So wait, those are two different things you just said, but I feel like woe is me people aren't necessarily fraud.
You don't think so?
No, you have woe is me people. They just are pitiful people who like the attention of having pity parties. That doesn't necessarily mean they're a fraud.
Okay. I guess like that part we'll have to agree to disagree on, because
Okay.
when I am around, if I were to be around those people, I don't really have those people in my life though. But if that was the case, like that's too much for me.
But now we're talking about okay, let's what you got next? Because now you're talking about feelings and all of that stuff and how you feel. That
I
doesn't determine if somebody is a fraud. We're talking about facts. What you got next?
Yeah. All right. So what about they don't make room for you to grow?
Okay, what do you mean?
So if someone has an opportunity for you to go to the next level, they withhold that information. So they know like, yo, this is a good opportunity for my homegirl. I ain't gonna tell her I don't want her to grow. I don't want her to be better than me. Not at all.
Okay. All right. I agree. I agree. Um, I have, so this might go into part of the explanation of what you were trying to say, but every time y'all talk, they always have drama or negativity. Like, I have people in my life, and some of them very close. I mean, my immediate family close. I mean, same mama and daddy close. Okay.
Okay. Goodness.
And every time they call, it's always negativity. They always want to bring me drama. They always want to tell me about some god awful situation that's going on in their life, and then they ask your opinion about something, and then they do the exact opposite. So it's like, why did you really bring me all that energy? You weren't trying to change. You weren't trying to grow from the situation. You weren't trying to learn anything. You weren't trying to do better because you asked my opinion about something and you did the exact opposite of what I advised you to do. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think that that's a true friend, because they are continuously dumping their burdens on you. And then they're never around when you need somebody to lean on. You know what I'm saying? They're just dumping all this negativity on you. They never call you and say, "Hey girl, how you doing? How's your day? How you feeling? What's going on? Listen, like you said, I got this new opportunity. Oh, here's a good YouTube that I seen. Check this out. Hey, you want to go to an empowerment event? Hey, let's go to this motivational speaker. Let's do this." They never bring you anything good, anything healthy for you. They always bring you negativity and drama. That's how you recognize a fraud. What you got? You got anything else?
I would say, I guess for one of my last points would be that they make you feel like you're not good enough. Um,
Oh, yeah.
so you're always starting to second guess who you are as a person. Like really, that you're really great, you're really this wonderful person, but you have these friends. I've seen better. And so I know that could be quite discouraging. but
Yeah.
they're your friends, so you gotta believe your friend because your friend ain't gonna steer you wrong. Why not, right? And that's definitely something that would, and
Is
yeah,
a fraud. That's what
yeah,
we're talking about. How to recognize fraud. Okay. So my last point on how to identify a fraud, and frauds are people who do not need to be sitting at your table. I don't care how evil they are or how bad of a person you think they are. I don't care how good of a person you think they are. If they're fraud, that's an absolute deal breaker because you can't trust them. You can't develop a bond with them. You can't have any type of loyalty with them because everything that comes out their mouth, you can't even believe it. You can't even believe that they're standing in front of your face and they're clearly standing in front of your face, eating up all your food on your table. So anyway, the last way to identify a fraud is that they go, that wasn't my point. They go absolutely berserk when you call them out on their shit. A fraud does not like constructive criticism. A fraud does not like to be checked. A fraud does not like to be guided in no kind of way, sort, because their perspective is the only perspective. If you were to tell a true friend that they did something that was wrong or they did something that made you feel hurt or betrayed or embarrassed or like they were disloyal, a real friend would say, damn, friend, I am so sorry. I did not mean to make you feel like that. That was not my intention. A fraud is going to be like, what you mean? They're going to turn everything back on you. Oh, I'm disloyal. You disloyal because remember when you did that. See, a fraud is keeping a whole list of every single mess up in their eyes that you have ever committed. And a fraud is just waiting for the opportunity to pull out their list and run down their list of how perfect Crystal thinks you so perfect. But remember when you did this? Remember when you did this? Remember, girl, who is still losing sleep over something that happened 10 years ago? Who?
People. Girl, you know there's people out there that does that. So yeah, that's
expensive. They fabricate lies like you're the one that's wrong, and they will even stop talking to you for a while until they feel like they're missing your energy. Because see, with a fraud, you give life to fraudulent people. They suck you dry. They pull your energy. They drain you of everything in you. And then when they done draining you, they go on to the next person and do them the same way. They some leeches. They ain't no good and the truth ain't in them. So what y'all need to do with those fraudulent people is y'all need to kick a fraud off your table. I don't even care if you don't like me, boo. You can sit at my table and eat as long as you be real about how you feel about me. I'm good with that. So you ain't got to like me. We going to eat. What's up?
I can tell you that I don't like you. You still gonna let me sit at your table?
You could say, as long as you ain't fraudulent and you ain't on that mess.
I'm gonna come like, Miss Iconic, I don't even like you. But let me get some of that cornbread real quick.
Girl, bye. Quit playing. But like I'm saying, for real, y'all, people can't sit at your table that you don't even get down with like that. But guess what? If they're beneficial to your purpose, let them stay there. Let them feast.
Absolutely, because what you said earlier, you said, Ace, although they might not be like not all good people are going to be at your table, so they're going to push you to your next life, your next journey, the next your path
purpose. Yeah.
Oh, I was going there next. Thanks, friend.
So anyway, y'all, like we said, it's time to have your last supper, guys. It's time to really sit down, write it down, make it plain. If it is a thought in your head and you're saying, man, I know this girl ain't about nothing, but we've been friends too long. That's not an excuse, guys. And I'm telling you,
get the strength to walk away.
God planned for 11 days for the Israelites, if I'm not mistaken. They turned their 11-day trip into 40 years. Don't do that. Don't make your trip longer than it has to be, because you're not going to get there if you're carrying people who are not destined to be a part of your purpose. You're not going to get there with them. So you might as well let it go now. Let it go.
I got one story to tell you, and then I'll be done.
Quickly. It's almost an hour.
All right, so this is a story I read, right? And I think you told me about the story. So it was about this man, and God asked this man to go up to the top of the mountain, but he had to take his rocks, right? And so the guy, he puts his rocks in this cart, and he's taking his rocks up to the top of the mountain. And so as he starts to see people, he know they say, "Yo, I want to put my rocks in your basket. Can you take them up to the top of the mountain for me?" So the dude was like, "Yeah, of course." So then as he keeps going up, he sees more people, and he's putting everybody's stuff on the top of the mountain, in their cart to go to the top of the mountain. So finally he gets tired, and he's like, "God, man, why you got me carrying all this stuff?" And God's like, "Listen, I ain't tell you to carry all that stuff. You chose to carry all that stuff." So saying that to say, you got to be careful who is at your table, because people going to be having you carry this dead weight that ain't meant to be kept. You got to carry your own weight and be able to go to the next level and be able to release people when you need to release them.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that story, but I need you to
Oh,
make it a little bit more specific so the people who ain't never heard it can understand it. But
what?
if y'all got the gist, y'all got the gist. If not,
Wait,
replay. But
no,
anyway, guys,
this
y'all
girl.
already know
Yeah,
who it
we out
is,
of here
guys.
today.
This is Real Soul Speak. Y'all can tune in with us. We're going live for probably the rest of the season, guys. So tune in with us. Every single Monday, we'll always put up an announcement about the time. Sometimes the time changes. You never know. But it's time to have that last supper, guys. Remove that dead weight and remove those frauds from your table. And this is Miss Iconic signing out. Y'all already know who this is. The hostess that always does the absolute most is Miss Iconic.
This your girl, Tiffany Two Tone, baby. We out.